Hey there! Today I'm going to show you how to create HTML pages with Bind AI using Claude 3.5 Sonnet and how to publish that using Webflow. Okay, you could pretty much create any sort of applications using HTML. So when I say HTML, you're going to use HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. And there's different ways in which you could actually publish an application. You could host it on your own server if you're familiar with how to do that. You could use something like a Webflow where you can just embed the code. You could also use something like Vercel, Firebase, Supabase. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Okay. Today we're going to keep it simple. We're just going to create a code. We're going to use Webflow. I'm in my account, and then we're going to embed. Okay. So first things first. So what I'm going to do is to be efficient with how we create this application, I'm going to define a set of system instructions so that I don't have to repeat things again and again. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is go to code generator. Once you go to bind A, you'll see it. Just click on it. Uh, create a new thread. If you are using an existing thread, it can just get confused. And that's just, default with LLMs. Like, if you give the right information, it will give you the best responses. I'm going to select Claude 3.5 Sonnet for this model, for this exercise. You could also select GPT-4o. Claude is better at creating UIs which look more beautiful. GPT-4o is pretty good at optimizing the code. So we're going to start with 3.5 Sonnet, and then we can switch to GPT-4o to optimize the code. And it's going to carry over all the history. Okay. So before we do that, going back to the system instructions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a custom GPT agent. Okay. So on the right side, click on this robot icon, and I'm going to show how to create an agent. Okay. So let's name it something. So let's create the e-commerce page creator. Okay. And agent which creates HTML, JS, CSS, web pages. Okay. So I'm going to define the instructions as you are an expert web developer. You can help with generating code for web pages which will be hosted, or let's call it embedded, which will be embedded in Webflow. And the user provides a prompt. Let's just call it a description of the application build. You will respond with the HTML code, and you will include the JavaScript and CSS within the HTML. You can skip through. I'm gonna just say it out loud. For CSS, we're gonna ask it to use Tailwind. Only use Tailwind CSS. It'll just use more standardized components, and it's gonna look pretty. Remember, the code will be embedded in Webflow. If the user requires any assistance, please provide responses. Okay, I think this is good enough. We can always edit it. I'm gonna create the agent for now. I can just scroll down and then I can click it here. Okay, so now it's opening it. I'm gonna go switch the model. Um, I'm gonna use 3.5 Sonnet. Earlier on, I said use code generator. You could also do that, but it's not a custom agent which you create. It's more generic. It has its instructions to write code. If you wanna give your own instructions, just do what I did. Okay, so this is on the side, and so I'm gonna close this for now. I'm just gonna give the instructions for create an e-commerce search page which looks similar to, let's see. Okay, first let's do this. Let's ask it to cancel. Let's ask it to give a plan first. Okay. Before you generate, let's just say, when user asks, let's see, let's provide the request. Please first explain your plan and the features you will include in the application. Okay, so that it's going to print. Okay, user, and again, like setting up like a system prompt is more of an art than science. There's of course some science to it, uh, maybe more science. Anyway, so user should be able to search uh, a list of products and filter by categories. It should show the price when clicked on add to cart. It should take the user to a checkout page. The cart in the checkout page, user should be able to add multiple items. When also include Stripe payment options and accept dummy card information to show successful completion. Okay, all right, so I'm going to copy this so that I can reuse it. I'm going to hit enter, and it's using again Claude 3.5 Sonnet. So as requested, I'm going to hide this. Okay, so it went ahead and printed the code. It also gave instructions. We can refine the instructions to first only give the plan and don't print the code. Agents are robots. They tell what you do. If you ask for silly stuff, they'll give you silly stuff. Okay, cool. So let's see what it said, and I'm going to show you how to look at what it did. Okay, so it has a search page, product search, grid, category, checkout page, quantity, price, Stripe payment integration, order completion. Okay, and then it's using Tailwind CSS, JavaScript, local storage to maintain cart state. Okay, mock Stripe payment. Okay, so now it gave a HTML code, and the reason I'm embedding JavaScript and the CSS in the HTML code is because in Bind AI you can see a preview of this code. By default, it will print these as separate files. That's how you should do it when you're actually deploying to a server. But when you're pasting this code in your Webflow, it's also going to accept a single block of code. So that's the reason. Not the best practice, but again, hey, we are not trying to build AWS here. Okay, so I'm going to just open this, and this is the editor. You can edit things if you want here, if you know what you're doing. Um, or you can just like hit run. So when you run, it's going to create a temporary link. It is just super temporary. It's going to keep it live for like a few minutes. And when you rerun it, it's going to create a new one. Okay, so let's click on preview. Okay, it did something. Let's see if it functionally works. Okay, it's doing filtering. Smart. Okay, so I'm gonna say add to cart. Let's close this. And let's see if it functionally works. 40, 40, 40, 26, 444, 444. Okay, all right. Pay now. Okay, we didn't provide a key, so it's not working. Back to search. Okay, so it did something. It doesn't look very pretty. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say like, okay, great. The code is functional. However, I want you to do the following. Do the following. One, make it look visually appealing. Use the styles and colors which it uses. Okay. Add image URLs for each product. Use dummy images which you have access to. Ideally, you should add your own URLs, but just to visually see how it looks, um, we will just ask it to do it. Okay, I'm going to just give these two instructions, hit enter. Okay, so, all right, so it's printing the code again, and it's going to reprint the whole code. Sometimes when you ask a very specific question like, hey, update the search bar, it might just print only the search bar code. In which case you'll have to ask it to like print the whole code again, and it should do it. Also, Claude is a very expensive model, so make sure like you create new threads for every new application. Okay, so it updated the code. It's just going to overwrite what we had. I still have this preview link from before. Let's see what it does now. I'm going to run again. Okay, I'm going to preview. Oh, nice. Okay, it made it orange like Etsy. Let's see if the search works. Oh, it works. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see if it. You should not be looking at my credit card details. All right, cool. Complete purchase number is incomplete. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so let's see how we can optimize this. I'm gonna say continue shopping. Also, the images are not working. Let's see if the the categories work. Dun, dun, dun. So now what I'm going to do is great. Everything works except the images don't load. Can you sure to use images URLs which work? Okay, so let's see if it works. If not, I'm just going to give it some um, image URLs. And if you notice, like, it created a new preview link. It's not the same. Also, if I see, looks different. And if I refresh this, it's probably going to be invalid. It only lasts for a few minutes. So the intention of the preview is it's a preview. So it's not something you should share out with someone and say like, hey, here's my e-commerce site. I'll show you how to do that in a permanent way with Webflow. All right, so see, so it did give you just a snippet. We're gonna have to ask him to replace it, or let's try to do it ourselves. Okay, so let's see if the images work. So I'm just gonna actually go here. I'm gonna copy this, and then I'm gonna see if it works. Okay, it works. All right, and then since we're doing a step-by-step instructions video, let's see if I can copy and insert this. That'll be embarrassing if I cannot do it myself. But hey, I'm not a developer. I'm learning the same way as you do. Okay, cool. So I go here and then I'm just going to find the block where we have, what does it look like? Const. Okay, this is products. Okay, and I'm going to replace, let's just go from here. And okay, end it here. And I'm going to enter and paste. Not quite sure it's going to work because it's going to format it in a weird way. Let's see if it works. Okay, it worked. All right. Okay, so most of them worked. Uh, the ceramic thing, let's assume we don't need it. Okay, so what's happening now? I added one. Continue shopping. Disable, disable. What do I need? I need a shirt. Continue shopping. A scarf. Okay, it's summing up. Let's see if it's summing up right. 139, 50, 30, 80 plus 60, 140. Okay, it's pretty close. Okay, now this thing is not working, the checkout thing. So what we're going to do is also, here's the thing. So since I manually updated this, if I ask for a question, it's going to not know what's in the editor. It's a limitation in Bind AI. It's going to get better. But okay, so let's now try to get the payment thing working. Stripe checkout is not working. Can you just make it work as well with dummy card data? Do not ask for Stripe API key. Okay, I mean, you should ideally just have it do the integration and add your API keys. Also, we're going to change the design. I don't quite like the design of the checkout card. The design for the checkout page, say, do the following. One, put the card details on the right side. Add options for, what do you want? Amazon Pay, Apple Pay, credit card. Okay. Okay, I think let's just do this. Let's not confuse it. Let's say we print the entire code with these changes. Okay, let's see what it does. And I'm gonna close some of these links. See, this is where we started. This is where we are so far. Um, and again, like I gave an instruction to like update this checkout page. Hopefully it adds something on the right side, but it might just not do something which it was already doing. And how many lines of code is this? This is like 184 lines of code. Okay, do the same thing again. Run, preview. Okay. Ah, nice. Okay, let's try to add one more thing. Scarf. Okay, I didn't actually ask it to do anything when I click on Amazon Pay. So right now it just has this option. Same thing with Apple Pay. Let's see if the credit card thing works. Okay, I just asked dummy data, so I think I'll just do that. /44 Okay, it says this is a dummy checkout process. Awesome. I could of course ask it to add a checkout thank you page. So let's do that. So when I complete the purchase, let's ask it to take me to a thank you page and show recommended similar products. Okay, let's also be nice to it. AI is going to rule the world, so they may be asking us to clean their dishes at some point. All right, so awesome. That was great. When the user completes payment and checkout, user should see a thank you page. The thank you page should have the following. One, it should show a summary of what items were purchased. Two, show the recommended items for you. Show the items from similar items based on the category of purchased items. Okay, regenerate the entire code. Okay, all right, so let's see what it does. I think we're already at 188. Okay, so it added basically 3 lines of code to what we had. I think we're doing good. We're getting better. So while it prints, I'm going to show you how to essentially get started with the Webflow page. So before that, it looks like it created the code, but it's incomplete. You see, in the end, it's the tags are not closed. Okay, I'm going to ask it like it looks like code you printed is incomplete. Okay. Print the entire code. And as the length of the code goes longer, we'll have to make sure to like give the right instructions. Ideally, you should create different pages so your code doesn't become very long and it's easy to manage. Okay, so while it does that, as promised, in Webflow, what you can do is go here, click on this page thing, create a new page, and then it's going to do this. And you're going to click on this plus thing, and then you're going to just search for code. Let's try code embed. Okay, so I'm going to put my custom code. Okay, so okay, didn't print it again. I think the code is too long. Let's try to use the last known version of code which worked. I want to show you how to do it in Webflow, and then you can continue optimizing it. Okay, so is this one complete? Let's scroll. Okay, so this one is also incomplete. Let's go back. Okay, so I'm going to copy this one. Right, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how to deal with the broken code. Don't worry. Okay, so I copied this code. This was the last working code. So this is what it was. Okay, so this is the one which we had. Okay, so now I'm going to go to this custom code thing and I'm going to paste it. So it may not actually work, and here's why. So when you're in Webflow, you don't actually need to have these HTML tags or body tags because it's already in the body tag. Let's try to save and close and publish it to a staging. Let's see if it works. Okay. All right, so I'm going to click this. Oh, it actually worked. So I take it back. You could put the whole HTML in Webflow. So this is a Webflow page. You could name it whatever. I'm not going to deep into how to use Webflow. There's a ton of videos already on the internet for this. But let's just see if it's still doing what we wanted it to do. Okay. So add to cart. Continue shopping. Let's get something for. Let's get a scarf. Let's get a poster. Okay. And here, 4. Again, it's gonna still show like the pop-up, which looked ugly. Okay. All right. So we did this. So here's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna ask it to. Okay, the code was truncated again. Can you please just generate a separate HTML file for the thank you page? Okay. Also, give me the updated code, the complete checkout. Actually, you know what? Okay, checkout. Okay, when user clicks on complete checkout, it should go to this URL. This URL. We're going to create this new URL in Webflow. So let's just say thank you. Thank you page. Same instructions for thank you page. So let's reprint because it was a while ago. We want AI to be really smart, but we also have to be good with the information we give. So I'm going to go pull the most recent. Okay, anyway, let's just try it as before. Let's see if it does the job. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get this separate HTML file. We're going to create another page in Webflow with this URL. And then we're going to update the code for this page. And then we're going to add that link. Okay. All right, so let's see what it does. I haven't done this one before, so I'm curious as well. Okay. Now, something while this is working. See, we're still in the same thread, okay? Ideally, I should have created a new thread for this. Um, what you could do is, if you have a working version of the code, so for example, this one, you could add it. And again, I'm going to regret this, but let's try. So you could create a more custom GPT. You can just say like, oh, this is my Etsy agent, and you could literally paste the code, and you can just ask it to update the code or iterate based on that. I'm not going to say this. You should not put very long code in the system instruction, because every time you ask a question, it's going to include this whole blob, which is like 300 lines, and it's going to eat up your compute points, which means every time it's just using more information. If you want to really like use your code base, there's other ways to do it. You could use our GitHub integration. You could connect your GitHub, and then it's going to just pull the data which you have. You could also use our Google Drive or file upload. We're going to have like a better version of file upload soon. But yeah, you could do that. Okay. Anyway, so let's go back and let's see what happened to the thank you page. Sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna run it. Okay, cool. So order summary. Thank you. View item. Okay, cool. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm gonna just copy this. I'll also copy it from here, and I'm gonna go in Webflow and save and close this. Here I go, new page, and I'm gonna call it. What did I say it was? Okay, thank you, all small. Okay, so let's say thank you. Okay, and then the same stuff, code embed, put here. And I'm also going to go back to the, I should name this thing. Okay, let's name it something. What do I call it? So this one is, let's see, like, maybe like Etsy. Okay. And you could do all sorts of SEO things. Okay, right, let's call it this. Save. And then I'm going to actually update the code here. Okay, so I'm going to update this. Okay, function complete purchase. Oh, there you go. Okay, so function complete purchase. Initial product will update. I don't know if this will work. Let's see. If it doesn't work, we'll just ask it to do the job for us. Save and close. I'm going to publish. Okay, it's taking a while. Blame Webflow, not us. So hopefully what I expect to happen is we would still have this page when I add stuff in complete purchase. It takes me to this other page. Okay, so it is done. Okay, so the moment of truth, and okay, like Etsy, whether you like it or not. Okay, so let's try this now. Oops. Oh, it did. Awesome. Um, all right. We didn't ask it to do anything with these buttons. So it has done what we have asked you to do, asked it to do. So to summarize, we started with a super generic instruction. It's way too long. Anyway, we first started actually with a GPT agent so that it has the base instructions, and then we asked it to create HTML page with JavaScript in it, and then we did a few previews. Again, these are temp previews. If I reload it, it may not actually work. Right, so it did work. Great. Again, don't share this link. This is a super temp view. And then we went to Webflow, and then we created a new page. We added this code embed, and then we just pasted it, and then we published it. Um, and then you have this experience. Okay. So some things to note. So this is all based on HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. You can do a lot of different things. You could actually ask it to call different APIs. You could connect it to a database through an API call. It is just storing, all of this in the JavaScript, your listings. If you have your own listings, you could actually just ask it to create a JavaScript server to store it and save it as a separate file. So there's a lot of different things you could do. We will post more videos on how to create, web applications like these. Okay. Um, Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. All right. Actually, sorry. Follow, like, and share. I'm new at this, but yeah, please spread the word.